Hi everyone, I'm Leon, the Home Butler. Version 3.7 brings loads of home anniversary perks, a new permanent gameplay, plus new objects. Let's check them out. First, this version marks 1 year since Home launched. Go to your home and complete the rookie tutorial to claim a free object set of your choice. Increase your home level to get even more awesome object packs. During the Home Anniversary celebration, you can also get a Home Anniversary pack, trade with the limited edition Mysterious Merchant, and more. Also, be sure to check out the new Find 4 gameplay. Use home coins to buy a game table and place it to start playing. Find 4 supports 1 to 2 players. Complete its missions for awesome rewards. Invite your friends to a game now. Finally, there are 2 new home styles to look forward to: Oasis Villa and Charming Cafe. They'll become available at different times. Get the new home items from the Home Shop or Lucky Spin. A related perks event will also be available in the event center to help you build your dream home faster. That's a wrap for the main home updates in this new version. Come try them out. If you have any suggestions, be sure to let us know in the comments. See you next time.
The Golden Dynasty has returned to its former glory, and so too have the weapons their warriors once wielded. The most powerful among them is the Reversal Blade, forged from the Temporal Sands. The power to reverse time is at your disposal when you wield it. It restores crates so you can open them again, and restore a vehicle's health, fuel, and tires. You can also mark your current location and status, gain a speed boost, then use the skill again while it's active to turn into a temporal orb and return to the marked location. Your health will also be restored to what they were when the mark was placed. And that's not all it can do. Find a forging station while you're in a match and place the Reversal Blade onto it along with upgrade materials. After a while, it will be upgraded into an Advanced Reversal Blade. Other players can attack while you're waiting, so be extra careful. The Advanced Reversal Blade provides a bigger speed boost and shorter cooldown, and it has a rewind ability that can only be used once per match. If you're knocked down or eliminated while the skill is active, you'll immediately be brought back to the marked location with your health and energy restored to their previous state. When this ability is triggered, the Advanced Reversal Blade will break and disappear. The Reversal Blade's powers make it always useful in battle. At the start of a match, land at the Gilded Palace or Eminence Courtyard, where there's a higher chance of finding one. Then collect upgrade materials as quickly as you can. After getting a Reversal Blade, use its Rewind ability to collect supplies from crates twice to gear up faster. When you have everything you need, head for the nearest forging station to upgrade your Reversal Blade. Then you can get around the map in a vehicle and use it as cover. Because even if it gets destroyed, the Reversal Blade can restore it. In the final play zone, the Advanced Reversal Blade's Rewind ability will be your key to victory. There are also other powerful items associated with the Golden Dynasty. The Golden Scepter's powerful magic summons a healing zone that restores the health of all players within it. You also have a self-rescue chance if you get knocked down while in the zone. The Golden Scepter can be used 3 times, and there is a cooldown after each use. Golden armor racks also have the power to turn the tide of battle. They can be found in the Gilded Palace and Eminence Courtyard. Approach one to restore your helmet and armor's durability. If you have none equipped, it will issue a set of level 2 or 3 helmet and armor. Think it's a pity that you can only get your hands on such a powerful item in specific locations? Don't worry! With a golden armor order, you can summon a golden armor rack anywhere you want. Summoned golden armor racks last 30 seconds, during which they can be used twice. Get defensive gear anytime, anywhere. These items are extremely powerful, and used properly, can introduce lots of unexpected turns in battles. Wipe out your enemies now.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready to move into day number 2 right here in the PUBG Mobile Campus Championship Spring Fall North America 2025. My name's DK. I'm joined by Neptura, and we're going to be taking you through all the hot and potentially sweaty action that we're going to be looking forward into today's matches. Now, Nep, yesterday, quite an exciting day. Teams have been doing quite a bit of work over the first day. Anything in particular you're going to be looking forward to moving into day number 2?
I mean, I kind of a continuation of what we were talking about yesterday, right? I want those hot drops. I want that action. We're gonna see it. But we saw some really, really cool and very interesting matches from certain teams. I think St. Clair did a great job last night, so I really want to see them continue. Western U, and as we talked about yesterday, DK, there's a lot of contention still in that mid-range on the leaderboard, so I'm seeing there's going to be a lot of skirmishes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to see all these skirmishes come through, but of course, one thing that I think is going to be quite exciting is looking at what the teams are going to be bringing to the foreground here today. All 3 of our top placing teams from yesterday find themselves in, well, the 3 best spots on the leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
They are positioned up into that top 3, so there's going to be a lot to look forward to seeing whether or not they can actually continue that pacing, keep on pushing, or if you're going to see teams like Seneca A, Niagara, Kent State, and potentially even Sheridan and Western U and Alabama as well, maybe, you know, looking to contend for those top spots. And I mean, I was talking about Humber yesterday, saying that last year, this time, we saw Humber really accelerating in their performances coming into just the grand finals in general. So I'm curious as to whether or not we're going to be seeing a bit of a repeat of that happening here, because remember, we don't necessarily have the same team composition as the previous year, but it's still the same school, right? So I'm curious whether or not those names are going to be carried forward, but there's quite a bit of competition on the standings.
There is a lot of competition. They have been very, very busy and really trying to keep that gap as narrow as possible. I mean, Seneca B tops the leaderboard with 38 points, but St. Clair's right behind them with 35, and then you have Middlesex County as well with 32. So it's very, very close in that top 3, and while those teams battle it out, there it leaves that opportunity for some of those 4th to even 9th, 10th place teams to actually take those places for them, because if you get too busy fighting each other, you're going to leave room for somebody else to come up behind you. So the gap is there, but it's not there that much. I think it's less than 10 points. So you're really going to be looking at being careful of everyone.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on the prize, and of course, you know, we'd love to hear what our viewers are thinking as well. So you can head on over to social media. Give us a bit of a follow over there. There's the Instagram, the X/Twitter, the YouTube, where you're hopefully watching on right now, as well as the Discord server to get right into the PUBG Mobile Esports NA server itself. So if you want to be one of the schools that are participating here, one of the teams that are participating in the community as well, be sure to head over to that Discord, get yourself involved, and get straight up into the things. And hopefully, maybe, potentially, we could be shouting out your names in the upcoming seasons. But speaking about seasons, though, Nep, I mean, the prize pool for this season is looking pretty nice.
Yeah, it's looking extremely nice. My goodness me, you can see why these teams are kind of squabbling now, can't you? I mean, the thing is, as well as I'm looking at, yeah, there's a little bit of a gap between 1st and 2nd in terms of that prize pool, but it really drops off 3rd to 4th, right? So you can definitely see why a lot of these teams are really going to be trying to close that gap as much as possible, because 4th place is $1,000, but 3rd is $3,000. I mean, that's 3 times the amount. So you're really going to be wanting to, I think, look at that 3rd place throughout this evening, these final 3 games, because that is where all the drama is going to be.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of pushing that needs to be done here if teams are not quite in those slots just yet and they want to be in the running for it. It's going to take a lot of work to get into that, but that is what we're looking forward to. And of course, if you forgot who the teams were that are participating today and across the grand finals, here we have all of them that made it to this point. So we got Middlesex County, Kent State, we got Seneca B, St. Clair, Capilano, we got Humber, we got Wabonsi, Georgian, Seneca A, Western U, Capilano B, Sheridan, Niagara, as well as NAIT, Alabama, and then of course Seneca C, right? We got to close it off with a nice little bit of a rhyme just in time there. But I want to hear from the viewers in the chat. Let us know who you are here to support. We do see a few shout-outs already coming through. I believe that is going over towards the players there from St. Clair. As we know, they are also known as a STG, right? Signed to God. So, yeah, we see a few of those shout-outs coming through. So, if you're here to support one team in particular, if not all of them, just give them a shout out in the chat. Let us know who do you think is going to be looking to clutch it up today. Now, yesterday I actually saw somebody saying, they're here to support Seneca. They don't know which Seneca team, so they're just going to be supporting Seneca. I mean, that works, right?
It does.
You're here supporting a school, and that is why we are in it, right? To see who's going to be the one to win it. So the campus championship is going to kind of wrap up today, but I'm expecting to see quite a bit, especially moving into our first match of the day, which is going to be over on towards the lovely Erringale. I'm expecting a little bit more of a step up in the overall performances compared to what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's safe to expect for sure, because coming into the finals, it was day one yesterday, first game of the finals. You're gonna be a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious. Today we start that real countdown, right? Only 3 games left to go, so every game counts, every point counts, and you've got to start as early as possible. So I would not be surprised if we not so much see hot drops, but I think see fights coming to fruition a little bit earlier on in the game.
I want to see what you asked for yesterday. Hot drops, aggression. I want to see teams looking to push it as much as they possibly can. And I think that is going to cause quite a bit of excitement out on the battlefield. I think the matches are going to fly by, as well as these teams will not waste any time getting right down to business. And that's what we love to see, because it is usually quite competitive looking at how these teams kind of just go through the pacing, right? Like the first day, yes, it's a bit of a litmus test. They're trying to figure out where exactly they want to look to go to. But once they get it, once they lock in, it is just going to be go, go, go. Speaking about going, these are the maps that we are going to be going to, right? So for game number 4/game number 1 for today, we are going to be starting over on Erringale, moving over into a little bit of that Miramar action before wrapping it up with the final match over in the jungles of the lovely Sanhok.
I mean, do we have to say anything about Sanhok? It's just the best map to watch. So much fun, so much skirmishing, so much battle, and it's great. It's great fun. I always enjoy watching it. It's nice that it's the last game as well, because it brings all that chaos to a head, all the drama as well, because it is that final game. But I think we can also really look forward to these Miramars and the Erangel as well, just because, it gives them a little bit more time to think, a little bit more strategy comes into play there as well. So it's a nice rotation so that we're able to see every facet of these teams.
Well, we got to say that we love these facets, right? They're definitely going to look to take it as far as they possibly can. Speaking about taking it far in facets, right? It's fascinating to see the support coming through in the chat. Yes, I just did that, but you know what? It's okay. It's fine, because Neptura is sighing on your behalf. I can see her sighing quite profusely right there. But yeah, I mean, so we've been seeing some shoutouts that are coming through for Niagara College. We got the players there from St. Clair getting a bit of support in the chat as well. There was one for Seneca B, right? I know it's Seneca B because it says thing, right? Because it's a B.
Nice.
So it makes a whole lot of sense. What also makes a whole lot of sense is us transitioning into the first game of the day. Here we go. And of course, we are going to be starting over on towards that eastern side. Nearly a horizontal flight path, close to it. So I want to see how these teams are going to be looking to spread out, because look at that access though, right down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's nearly 50-50 split down there, so at least these teams have a real easy flight out of here. You know, they're going to their destinations pretty smoothly, not too much of a bumpy landing coming in here. You already got some early leavers. Actually, we've got a hot drop in Lipovka, DK. It looks like we got two teams down there. We saw this yesterday. They've gone for it again. It's a risky play this early on in the game. Like I said earlier, I didn't think we'd really see hot drops that much, but definitely earlier game fights. But they've gone straight for that hot drop.
Yeah, I mean, we can at least give the teams a nod to consistency. We do, however, see a bit of a change up coming through there for Shanks and the rest of the crew. So I think that's actually quite an interesting slight bit of a diversion, because yesterday we did see them dip over into Yasnaya Polyana, right? That, of course, being the players there from Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. Today, it seems like they're pushing up north, heading over towards Kameshki. So this is actually quite an interesting slight bit of an altercation or an adjustment that they've brought through with regards to those locations. And we also then see the players from Sting going somewhere else to what we had yesterday, that of course being the players there from Seneca B. But the zone though is pulling over towards Millie. So I think we're going to be in for quite a bit of a ride here, seeing that the teams will now all have to push down. But this again is going to be that opportunity where we yesterday saw the players taking that 2-2 split over towards the bridge, right? There was a team that decided to, you know, make things a little bit more interesting, looking to see if they can actually get that setup going. And they ended up kind of, you know, changing it to only one bridge. That, of course, with the players from Western U. So the opportunity is there again, right? They're the only team on that far southern side.
Yeah, they are indeed. And oh, hang on. We've got a different team moving on to that eastern side as well. So again, we're starting to see an early rotation coming in from one or two teams. I think the team in Primorsk is definitely going to want to make that rotation as early as possible. But we also have the dreaded apartment standoff, Kent State over here against Capilano. And, I mean, you know, DK, I hate apartments so much because it's practically unwinnable. It's so difficult to actually win here. It's very, very hard to get anywhere, to get any sort of ground. It's really just a great recipe for a standoff. So we'll see how they play this. I'm sure they'll play it better than I would, but that's a great angle there, but it doesn't look like it's going to come to fruition on anything serious here as we move over to Lipovka.
Well, let's see. Middlesex yesterday, they were the team to get that last winner chicken dinner. So there's some high expectations moving into the first match of the day right here. But it is going to be some heavy dipping, diving, and dodging happening all over the place. Of course, Seneca on the opposing side there, as you can see. Who's that? That's Punk and the rest of the crew making their way on through. I almost said Pearl, and then it was like, hang on. No. That's not Pearl. Yep. Pearl's the team name. But yes, that is a Seneca Pearl, aka Seneca A, right? So I like the angles that they've got, a decent spread. I like that lineup over towards the coastal line. Does provide them with some pretty decent coverage over onto the players here for Middlesex County. But Middlesex, I think, is also playing quite a strong position here, right? Not going to be looking to make too much noise, keeping themselves nice and quiet. And speaking about quiet, Anmol doing the same thing right here, right? Just quietly peering out the window.
I mean, I would too. That's a fantastic angle that I don't think Capilano are super aware of at this juncture, but he is going to try and move and see if he can get just a better angle than that, right? He does know there's probably somebody up on that roof. He would be correct in that assumption. There is, in fact, somebody. Nades starting to now pour in here. Kent State wanting to get this action started, and that nade was an okay start. It got a little bit of damage off, but it's not the knock they need to push in.
I think it's maybe just a bit of fair warning. It's like, you know, just gotta watch out because we will get you. And of course, speaking about that, Ruthless staying true to their name, just hammering in with those blows. But a quick bit of retaliation. Unbold now not having that surprise element working in their favor anymore. As the shots now start to get exchanged. This is that opportunity for Kent State to apply the pressure, push on forward, and maybe even get the jump in on towards Capilano. Speaking about pressure, though, look at this. Whoa. It is going to be Middlesex County now playing a little bit of a PUBG GTA as they push all over the place, just rotating around prison and the surrounding areas. And this is Western U now finding themselves Ooh, oh no, that was rather the players from NAIT finding themselves in a rather uncomfortable position here, not getting the start that they would have wanted here for today. But I guess it's okay.
I mean, it's only the first game, I suppose, but yeah, that's not the start they wanted at all, and I feel bad for them because they got completely ambushed and sideswiped, I suppose, by that. It was really a tough break for them because there was a lot of good sprays coming through onto them, so there's not much they could do about that. But GG's nonetheless as we move on over back to school. It looks like everybody's kind of up and ready to go. I can't see if Capilano did, in fact, lose a player. I'm sure they did, and they might just lose another one because this is a full send 4-stack up these stairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to figure out, right? Because we can only see the one player up ahead there. We do see a few other orange dots. There we go, Capilano, hey! Now helping us out with that one, as we can see Assaulter just waiting up on the roof. Trying to play a little bit of that advantage down onto the side here of Kent State. But Kent also not going to be letting themselves get caught out, right? They've made the charge, they've made the push, and now they look to keep it as quiet as they can. And I think what's quite nice for both these teams is the fact that they still got about, like, what, almost 4 minutes left until the blue zone is going to catch up to where they are right now. And we could see the fight definitely either getting concluded or evolving into something different in the very foreseeable future. So let's see how this one is going to pan out. Good angle here from Assaulter. Want to see something now coming from the angle. Speaking about angles, it's going to be one all the way from Humber, trying to defend the honor of the squad, as Eagle is the only other player left to help try and apply a bit of that pressure. Western U also now looking to see if they can find a bit of that pressure point into the side of Humber. Middlesex also still displaying the territory, moving all over the place. I like this that we got 3 points of contention here.
Yeah, it's really nice. Western U did exactly what they needed to do by camping that bridge, holding that bridge, and making sure nobody else can use that bridge. We're also seeing a couple of teams go head-to-head all over the map, and then, of course, school apartments area as well. Still that standoff 60 meters into zone, so they've got time, right? It's not far at all, but they do kind of need to finish this up in the next 3 minutes, I'd say. Otherwise, they're going to start having a lot of trouble, and really 3 minutes is too much, because while that's all right for the zone, it's not all right for the rest of the teams, right? At that point, they're going to get way too busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little bit of back and forth, the trade-off coming through here. Eagle also going to try and see if they can hold on, trying to get themselves boosted up. Beautiful reach, yes, indeed. Little bit of damage, though, so Eagle being a little bit more proactive, just staying well ahead of those utilities. But now Vegeta, yep. Could get the... Yep, Vegeta is done and dusted. I wanted to say something clever, but these players are just way too quick for that. So well done to them as we say goodbye to yet another team. Down to final 13 we go. And of course, the contention, the fight on the bridge, still ongoing. 2 players down there. As you can see, Humber trying to figure out what will the play be. As one is holding on the front line, Assaulter also still holding it nice and steady. Not much really having changed here between Capilano and Kent.
No, but I think we Ben knew that that's what was going to happen. Oh, nice little knock there onto Assaulter. This could be the push that they need. There's 2 knocks on the floor right now. They need now to do this and clean it up very, very quickly. A really good opening from Kent State, but now they're looking for 2 more. Phoenix and Clueless keeping pretty good guard here. They're just not letting Kent move through. Oh, that could be the losing blow there, because now he's down to 1 HP. Kent State are going to know that, and this is where the wraparound comes in. Yep, there we go. Does get that knock on Phoenix, and now it's just a 4v1.
Oh, Clueless, beautiful jump shots coming in, but down they go. That was Prince OP playing an OP jump shot to wrap up that fight. Now, the pressure is slightly alleviated, at least up in towards the school apartments area. Now, Seneca C trying to see if they can find their way across the bridge, but they are also now finding themselves in a very interesting position here because, well, not much has changed over towards the bridge itself, right? It's still going to be Western U holding nice and steady on the angles. Going to try and lock it down as best they can. And you got to love all these pressure points being applied here. A little bit of the bond plays coming in as well, as this is now Seneca's opportunity to try and clear the way, as they know they have to push on forward. But at least now, Western U, they've decided to move about. Kent, or the Humpers, still on the opposing edge there. So you can see all these teams will still have to push on forward, but we can still look at quite a bit of an engagement towards the bridges. All the way up north, though, things are looking to take a good long while, right? We got the players all the way from Niagara holding over in towards the far northern approaches, all the way in Savoni. Now starting to dip out of dodge as they make their way towards the edge. Seneca was applying quite a bit of that pressure, but both those teams, of course, now having to trek quite a long way now to get themselves all the way safely into zone.
I'm confused. To be honest, Savoni, at this time of night, that's kind of crazy. This time, this amount of blue zone that you're taking damage from, now you got 700 more meters to go, and this is on that edge. So, yeah, an interesting play for sure. It's further interesting that we've only got 12 teams left at 12 minutes in the game is kind of crazy. We're just now seeing stage 2. We've already lost quite a few teams, but Seneca A looking to be not one of them if they can all avoid it, right? But Sheridan definitely looking down that cliffside at them, trying to get this wraparound. They definitely know that duo are here. I mean, this should be a fairly easy pickup for Sheridan, though, I gotta say, right? They're already on 6 eliminations here. They are on fire. One of our teams that really needed to step up today, and so far they're doing just that.
Yeah, I mean, Sheridan, they're going all out, right? They're trying to risk it for all those biscuits, but this is quite interesting looking at where they find themselves, because they've essentially not moved that much from where we saw them kind of drop in onto this map, right? They were a little bit closer towards multi-power area, now having to bounce back, looking to find the opportunity on towards Seneca A, and they do exactly that, going from those 6 elims all the way up to a very comfortable 8. That is essentially 2 squads that they've wiped out in just these past few minutes. And there's still a lot more for them to go at.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at where they left off yesterday, they were tied with Western U and Alabama. Their points put them at 7th place, but they're 5 points behind Kent State. But with these 8 eliminations, it's looking more and more like they should surpass Kent, depending on how they do. But it's looking very, very good for them. A very strong start to the day for sure. And we're starting now to see a lot of teams having to decide which side of the road they're going to. It's interesting that Western U did decide to go back over to the mainland. I think they kind of got squeezed out by Seneca A there. But they're going to have to figure out a way to go back over that water area. Maybe get that hovercraft back, because definitely I think we're going to be seeing this zone go over to that island.
There's a high probability of something like that coming through here, and of course we'll find out in about 2 minutes and a bit of change. But Sheridan now looking to make their play as they look to disengage, pushing further and further forward. But yeah, I'm curious as to how they're going to look to rotate in, because I mean the zone hasn't fully committed down to the south, but also it could still very well, as you said, you know, move all the way in there. So I think the bridge is going to be a big component as to how these teams could look to move on forward. But the pressure is going to be on, right? They're going to have to be quite creative with the way that they get themselves over on towards that Millie Island. And of course, the bridges are under contention. Alabama are going to be locking down that western side. So that is going to make it a little bit more challenging to get a smooth and comfortable rotation all the way in onto this map. I mean, looking especially over to Capilano B, they now starting to make that play, but this is where Alabama could really look to lock it in.
I mean, they should and they have to. I mean, that's their only shot now. The zone has started now to move on in. This is where that pressure starts to get to them. It's a 4v4. It's evenly winnable on both sides, I suppose, but I do think that Alabama have a bit of a better spread here. I'm surprised that they didn't, WSF didn't actually move through with a boat. I'm really surprised that did not happen. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a boat somewhere between there and Primorsk. But let's see how they go. They're deciding to use that bridge and contend for that instead. So far, not going well.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Blue Zone is nobody's friend. So it's just going to start gobbling up them HP bars as the players here from Capilano B are experiencing firsthand. And now you got to figure out how on earth do they make it to that bridge, because Alabama getting ready to strike on down as they do find their second victim. You can see Guri and the rest of the crew now just locking it in. We did see Dalit being one of our MVPs yesterday, so there's definitely some level of expectation coming through on that front. But it does seem like Capilano B are going to be opting for maybe a blue zone fight for some reason, while the rest of the team now uses the opportunity to dip over the bridge as they do start to make their play. UV are trying to lock it down, and the only player left here for Capilano B.
I mean, I like what they tried. Oh! Nade to the face. Let's go.
That was epic.
I love those shots when you can just see the impending doom just coming straight at you. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Not for them, for us. But I kind of like what they were doing there. They tried to sacrifice one to save the team, right? Distract one while they try and make it over that bridge, but it just didn't work out. And now we have to move on to a more successful team, because Sheridan is on our screens right now. 8 points still on the board. What I did notice earlier, though, as well, is St. Clair. They are... or they use the hovercraft to go right the way around. They're in an observatory now, but 0 eliminations on the board so far, and I don't think that's the same as what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit of a change in progression that we see here. Teams obviously going for a little bit of a different tactic here to ensure that longevity, but yeah, it's definitely starting to heat up as the teams are, you know, starting to lock it in as well. I just gotta say about that nade, I was waiting for that voiceover to come in, right, where the nade like draws near and it's just about to hit the wall, and then it all goes in super slow motion, and you hear it was at this moment that he realized Niagara has been eliminated. Yes, right. Obviously, we can't say, I can't use the exact words that I want to use because we're on stream, but yeah, it's good that you know, all these things are happening. And speaking about things, though, we've got 9 teams left, and you were talking about the observatory. Just look at the angle that Seneca C has down on them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, Seneca C, one of our teams that need a few points, and 2 points on the board for them so far is always a good start. Seneca C are 14th place right now, so it's nice to see that we're going to have a couple more points going their way. But you know what's more like a couple points for you is a couple of bucks. $5 Amazon gift card code on your screens right now. You got to go and get those if you want to be epic in game and out of game, and let us know if you grab them. Right, pause the stream, get that code written down, go to Amazon, and then if you're the lucky one to get that, then let us know in chat. We want to know who wins it and what you're gonna get with it. Let us know.
Yeah, what you're gonna do with all that cash. Like, let us know. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see where these teams are gonna be going. For some reason, like, I don't know. I almost started singing a song there, and I realized, yeah, don't do that. We've got viewers. And it's not gonna bode all too well for the hearing, so I won't punish you like that. In the meanwhile, we are gonna be hopping into stage number 4. Ooh, okay, so it does seem like we are gonna be staying at least to the northern side of the island, close towards the bridge, but kind of in between the bridge and, of course, the Novo container yard over onto the far side there. So this is gonna put quite a bit of pressure on our squads, all now having to cram into this little itty-bitty space, and there's not going to be a lot of space to try and make much of. But this is where the high ground, I think, could also come in absolutely clutch, because look at that setup.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Exactly 50% water coming through here. I feel bad for St. Clair in a way, because you're right, they have the high ground. But the zone never goes to observatory, and that's easily one of the best spots in the map. It's such a good setup. And even that ledge that was looking really, really good is also outside of zone, and that just sucks. There's no way around that. It's really, really heartbreaking when you have to leave a really good spot. But Seneca C are going to be holding down the fort. They're right in the middle of zone here. They've actually got a really good position in these compounds, and the rest of these teams are going to have to kind of work their way around that. And so far, Seneca C seem to have a good handle on their surroundings.
I'm curious to see what Humber is going to do with their spot, right? Because we got them just to the north over that ridge.
Yeah.
Right, on the coastline. So that ridge could actually allow them to sneak all the way over to the container yard from the bridge all the way through. So I think that could also allow quite an interesting play to have to be had right here on the screen. But we'll see pretty soon how these teams are going to be looking to do exactly that. For the time being, the shots are starting to connect on through. That is going to be Alabama now applying all the pressure onto the side of Kent. It's R2D versus R2D. So who will win? Well, definitely R2D. I can say that without any doubt. Yep. Told it.
You're right.
Told you so.
Well
Called it. It's Alabama. They got themselves the wipe on that one. Also now stepping up onto 8 eliminations.
That's a lot of elims. Nicely played here. This is what we were saying. Those teams that needed a few extra points are definitely bringing it out today. We've got a lot of teams getting a lot of points here, and Georgian, surprisingly, not one of those teams, right? Still sitting on 0 elims, but I think that's pretty much the same as St. Clair at this point in time. So they're really, really going for those placement points, which now they are safely and firmly in those placement point brackets, so they can start wheeling and dealing a little bit more. Oh no! Yick! You gotta, or X1. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's just one.
It's just one.
Yeah, today's just one. I mean,
He is the one, the only one.
yes. And
However that
number
song
one.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the lyrics to that song, but I'll just
I don't
go with
either.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know what song she's talking about, well done. You know something I don't. But in the meanwhile,
Brownie
we're going to be
points.
looking over in Georgian right here. They still have that full squad up. They don't have any elimination points though. Not a single drop.
Nope.
What's going on?
I know, right? They've been keeping to themselves. They've been chilling. But they can't chill no more because look at that zone and look at the placement of all these teams within it. Kind of crazy. We got 2, maybe 3 teams outside of zone right now. The rest of them are firmly and safely inside, but that might not be the case for much longer. Only 45 seconds remain on the clock until that zone starts to move on in.
Anmol Hans in chat. That's funny. That's funny, my guy. Well done. But anyway, let's see. Ooh, there's going to be that full on right now coming towards the edge of zone as the players now continue to push further and further afield. Oh, Seneca B, Psycho getting stopped in their tracks as well, Seneca C is right there to greet them. And of course, you can't forget about that one. You can see the sprays all over the place. Everybody now starting to lock on in, getting ready to apply as much pressure as they can. The rush is going to come through here. But let's see whether or not Western you can keep the momentum. The answer is no. Seneca B will be the team to end the run there for them. Georgian, though, they found their first elim, right? The Toxic Kid doing what needed to be done to get those points on board. But they still have quite a few available hits here to go.
They do indeed, but the same might not be able to be said for St. Clair over here. I'm not sure if this was a third party because it looks like Sheridan is also looking a little bit knocked, or maybe Alabama's trying to, but Katz goes down and that's St. Clair out, and then immediately followed up by Sheridan. I don't even know what happened there, but that's a very swift 1-2 move right there to get rid of those teams, and now we are down to just 5 left, and I think you could stop nading that area. Now they're both dead.
I mean, for Alabama, that would have been an absolutely amazing play had they sent the nade in, because everybody was on red HP bars and super low bars, right? So just drop one nade in and you pick up like 8, 9 elims all in one swoop. That would have been absolutely ridiculous, but I don't think that is what happened. Still exciting to see though. 5 teams now remain, 15 on a side. Well, all combined, so that puts us on an average of 3 players per squad. And of course, Humber in the hovercraft are going to be looking to make their push in towards zone. Not a bad setup, not a bad position here. And again, still playing that ridge.
Yeah, again, it's a really good spot to have. You know that teams have already cleared that area, so they're not necessarily looking over there. Everybody's already distracted by having to move inland into zone and figuring out how they're going to do that. So that's actually a really, really good play from them. It does mean they're furthest outside of zone, but you know what? It gives them time. Maybe they can chill. It'll be fine. But now, let us see what the rest of the teams are going to be doing, because Georgian looking pretty smack dab in the middle right now in a really great position. You do have Seneca on the other side, 2 4v4 teams. It's very daunting to try and get into the zone, actually.
Yeah, it is quite, right? But I think Georgian, they're probably in the best setup that we've got here. They have all the mids that they found so far. They've not really had to use any of those. You can't say the same here for Alabama as they continue now to try and push up, trying to climb into that zone. But it's just going to be utilities and, well, big booms going off all over the place. We do see Demon getting picked up on that trade as well. Now, Alabama trying frantically to get themselves in, trying to take a wide spread. The zone shifts in favor of Georgian yet again. And, I mean, they just sitting right there in the sweet spot in the zone, holding on to the only compound.
They are, but it's not enough that the zone has been given to you. It's that you got to deal with everybody else who also has to get into zone as well. Alabama, one of those teams on one side. I mean, at least for Georgian, they know that there are a couple of teams here who are looking to fight each other and doing it very well on one side. So they're a bit distracted, but no, not distracted for much longer. Seneca B do go on out there. That's going to be them done and dusted. And we're now down to just 4 teams.
Yeah, that was a little bit of that Seneca on Seneca action. So we had the 2 R2Ds fighting. We had 2 of our 3 Seneca teams fighting it out. So I love all the altercations that we have here. But of course, as you've said, everybody now could start to focus their efforts in onto the side here of Georgian. And Alabama are going to start with a little bit of movement, going further on towards the northern side. But Georgian's still keeping a very close eye towards Humber as well as on towards Seneca, as both squads now start to make that push. They've only got 10 seconds and a bit of change left on the clock. Look at that though, Humber, they get swept under the rug. And now comes the push. The play is there. 2 players already getting dropped right on down there for Georgian. It's going to be a full send. King also taking a very cheeky approach, just making their move up on the edge of zone, but not sneaky enough, as Alabama stops them right there in the tracks. Now Alabama sitting on double-digit elims, and it seems like they've got a clear way potentially straight into that winner chicken dinner as they lock it in, sending the nade out, eliminating Georgia, and with that, getting a glorious chicken. I mean, look at that though. That puts us straight on 14 eliminations for Alabama.
That's an insane way to start the night. What a game coming in from them, and masterfully played as well, right? They hugged that ridge as long as possible. They made sure that they were also in a position to keep teams from coming inside the zone while also holding off Georgian in a way that just made them have full control of that zone. A really, really nice play from Alabama, and it really worked out. That win plus 14 eliminations. I mean, man, you're talking about what was 9th place coming probably into that top 5 for sure.
And I mean, if you remember yesterday, they got 8 eliminations and no placement points at all in the first match. So what a way to double down on the efforts. I mean, just in those 2 games, right, the 2 Erangels that we've had, that puts them on 20 elims. It's ridiculous. It's pretty damn crazy. So what a way to go, and what a way to kick off the proceedings here for the final day of the PUBG Mobile Campus Championship. So, yeah, gotta love it, right?
Yeah.
I actually like the way that we had quite a bit of contention coming on towards the bridges themselves, right? Georgian, they were holding onto that compound very close to the bridge for the longest time, but unfortunately, they weren't able to hold on. They did cause quite a bit of trouble for a few of the teams surrounding them. So I gotta say, I like that, right? I like
Yeah.
the little bit of an upset being played as well. But of course, well, only one team can take it home at the end of the day. And of course, first up, we got to start with our MVP, right? To see who was the one to clutch it out. And it's got to be none other than Hope, all the way from Seneca B.
Yeah, it is true. It's a really good show, actually. 600 damage, 4 elims. It's a really, really nice little bit of an MVP thing to start off the night, and actually it's a lot of damage for that many eliminations, so you're looking at a few assists there as well, so he's really pulling his weight for that team, so GG.
Yeah, and I mean, what an effort it was coming through from them, but, you know, essentially, Alabama doing what they gotta do, going through with those 14 elims, only 1,600 damage, so a very strong conversion rate, right? Very effective. The damage they were doing, they were converting those into eliminations. So gotta love it there for the side of Alabama. And I mean, looking at Sting or Seneca B getting the MVP position as well, right? Yesterday, they had 19 points off of this match. And now we did see a beautiful, beautiful bounce back coming through. Alabama looking to rep it out. I think Alabama, of course, having the fattest chicken that we've seen so far over these past 4 games. So you gotta love it for them. It's great.
Yeah, it sure is. And Alabama, that puts them squarely in 3rd place by a little bit of a margin, 5 points separating them and Middlesex County. And only 2 points to 2nd place. I mean, that's what happens when a team like St. Clair doesn't do all that much in that game. They held out to that top 6, top 7, which was really good. I mean, it's kept them in 2nd place, right? But they can't do that. They can't afford to do that in this next Miramar game. They've got to do something because Alabama, Middlesex, Sheridan as well, they're all looking for that 2nd place spot.
Yeah, I mean, Sheridan, they moved up. Seneca A moved down ever so slightly, right? There's no change in their points at all, but if we look over towards that right-hand side, Humber, they also got moved up 1 single slot. But the biggest move that we see is actually Western U that have moved from 8th place to 11th. So quite a bit of a shift in that regard. But you got to give it up to Alabama all the way from 9th place to 3rd place in 1 single match. We did see that yesterday also happen on the last game. But I think it's and that was actually Middlesex County that it happened for yesterday, right? Going from the right side all the way to that left side. So there's still a bit of hope for the teams trying to get themselves in the money, right? And that is going to be for the top 6. You can see Niagara, Kent State, only 1 point currently separating the 2 squads.
Yeah, that's really where it comes down to. And they both have those elimination points, right? 15-15. So the difference there is only those placement points. So if they can just kind of vie for that position a little bit more, they're in a real shot of actually getting that top 6 position.
Well, I think our second match of the day is going to be quite exciting over in towards Miramar, right? A slight bit of a change in comparison to what we had over on Erangel, but there's only going to be one way for us to find out what that will entail. Of course, if you can't figure it out, we're heading into a break. We'll see you right back in a short few moments. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, I'm Leon, the Home Butler. Version 3.7 brings loads of home anniversary perks, a new permanent gameplay, plus new objects. Let's check them out. First, this version marks 1 year since Home launched. Go to your home and complete the rookie tutorial to claim a free object set of your choice. Increase your home level to get even more awesome object packs. During the Home Anniversary celebration, you can also get a Home Anniversary pack, trade with the limited edition Mysterious Merchant, and more. Also, be sure to check out the new Find 4 gameplay. Use home coins to buy a game table and place it to start playing. Find 4 supports 1 to 2 players. Complete its missions for awesome rewards. Invite your friends to a game now. Finally, there are 2 new home styles to look forward to, Oasis Villa and Charming Cafe. They'll become available at different times. Get the new home items from the Home Shop or Lucky Spin. A related perks event will also be available in the event center to help you build your dream home faster. That's a wrap for the main home updates in this new version. Come try them out. If you have any suggestions, be sure to let us know in the comments. See you next time.
Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to move into our second match of the day, second to last game. Of course, we're heading straight into the desert, and if you missed it, we had a pretty exciting game come through in the previous one. Of course, the upsets coming in from all over the place, and of course, it is not going to end anytime soon because we still have 2 games for these teams to duke it out. Now, Nip, what do you think is going to be happening once we step into the desert, right? Aside from the obvious part where they're going to go pew pew and things going to happen. What do your predictions be, zone-wise?
Predictions. The zone, we're going to have a straight center, boring zone. It's going to be chill. It's going to be fine, I think. Probably a hard shift towards the late game, but that happens every game, so it's fine. I think it's going to be pretty normal. Just smack dab in the middle. We got a little bit of Picado, a little bit of San Martin.
All right, I'll take it. A little bit of San Martin, yes. I'd love to see a little bit of that San Martin coming through as well. So we'll have to wait. Yesterday, I said I was hoping for something going up in towards the area there of Crater Fields. And yeah, it didn't quite happen. So I'm curious if we're going to have any high ridge positioned players coming through again this time. We did see a little bit of that gameplay come through yesterday. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to be seen as we make it over in towards the desert. Now, yesterday, of course, moving into the desert itself, we did see a few interesting developments come through. A very centralized flight path, so the team's not really having to stress all too much with how they're going to get themselves situated and where they're going to go. But Sinclair stepped up and they kind of, planted their flag and they said, this is ours, we're going to take it. And they did a pretty bang up job, right? They did a pretty good, they had a pretty good overall performance. So I want to see how far teams are going to be looking to push it this time around, because I mean, Sinclair, they picked up 19 points also in yesterday's game number 2. So we've been seeing a bit of that consistency coming in, at least yesterday. So that might mean that today we might have 24 points going over to the next team, potentially.
Maybe. I mean, it's entirely possible, and what we said before break is it's entirely necessary, right? For St. Clair, they need that kind of map again today, because they got enough points to hold themselves in second place from that game 1, but they need game 2, and as you see, game 2 is gonna be Miramar, especially before that Sanhok, because Sanhok gonna be dicey. So this is the game, this is the map where all of these teams, not just St. Clair, need as many points as possible before going to the jungle.
Yep, you gotta get ready for them rumbles to go. So I think a good prep for the jungle would be a southern zone, because that southern position of Miramar is very similar to what we have across the board over in Sanhok to some extent. Not exactly, obviously it's a different color, but in the meanwhile, speaking about colors, we've got a very colorful plane as we're making our way on in, coming through from that eastern side yet again. It does seem like we're leading a little bit more towards the south, but it's not going to be too upsetting to a lot of our teams here. We've seen now that they don't back away from the opportunity of going for a position outside of that zone.
Yes, indeed. I want to see how quickly these teams are actually going to be moving out because sometimes you can get a team that's really, really eager to just get out and get landed and get started with that game. We're not seeing it too much here on this map as we did in the Erangel. The Erangel, we seem to have a lot more eager beavers out there, but we're starting to see now over Los Leones, over towards Chumacera as well. This is where these teams are starting to fly, and you're right, they are all going down to that south side. There's not many teams going up to the north. Nobody's going to really be going for San Martin. Nobody's going to Graveyard or Minas as at all. And actually, we're getting a little bit of a hot drop, it looks like, in Picado.
Yeah, and it's good to see that we've got two different teams actually moving up into Picado, because Kent, well, they went there yesterday as well, but Seneca B, they went all the way to San Martin in yesterday's Miramar match, and today they might look to drift. Ooh, all right, so they're not full spinning it up into Picado. I like that. The team's actually respecting a bit of space here, so that's going to be pretty dang awesome. Monte Nuevo, though, might not be the same. We have Alabama in there. As you can see, we've got the players from Sinclair in there as well. So there's going to be quite a bit to fight for over into Monte Nuevo, potentially.
Quite indeed. I mean, we did see was that, Western U? No, Western U's in. Sure who that was over there, but we only saw one team who's actually outskirting Monte Nuevo at all. They're just leaving that whole place alone. The rest of those teams did seem that like they were all going for it. Oh dear, we were talking about St. Clair before this game, and that's not good. Srand goes out. That's with the pistol? Oh, that, you know it's bad when you're fighting with a pistol. That's rough out there. Oh, and he gets knifed as well. Luxury. No mercy whatsoever, and that's 2 down for St. Clair already.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Niagara definitely decided that they're going to try and absolutely just cascade as much damage as they can over onto the side there of Sinclair. I mean, it's a good start, but Niagara also going to be losing a player, right? So they might get aggressive, but they're getting a little bit of their medicine handed right back at them. So I love this as the teams are, jumping at opportunities, trying to do whatever it is that they can find. But as we also then see Sinclair not quite out of it just yet, right? They still have 2 players in. And of course, if you remember, Akash yesterday was playing a pretty fire game. So I want to see how this one's going to go.
Yeah, that is true. We still have Akash in the game, and as long as he's there, all is not lost for St. Clair. That seems to be what we've seen so far. I also want to point out that we got a lot of teams down to that south side by Los Leones, right? 3 teams in or around Los Leones, 2 more between there and the islands, right? So there seems to be quite a few teams concentrated in that area, which leaves that northeastern side completely to, I believe, Sheridan over in Impala there. So it means there's a lot of space for some teams and not a lot of space for other, and Luxury just cooking that a little too long there, but he is targeting a cache, and this is where St. Clair just have to be very, very still, because you're right, Niagara not letting this go.
But it's an interesting shift in the dynamic, because if you remember yesterday, we hardly had any teams within the zone round about this stage, right? And today, there's hardly any teams outside of the zone. Yes, the flight path does play into that a little bit, but Akash is not going to be playing with anything, as the first hit has been delivered. But Akash, of course, getting rushed. Beautiful wraparound play coming through here from Niagara as they do close that one off. And they walk away feeling a little bit better. Right, Western U also now trying to see what they can get done all the way up in towards Los Leones. But as we know, Los Leones is quite a big position to play, and it's going to take some time before they find even anybody else close to them. We do see other players, of course, on that mini-map, but they don't know. What do we know? So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But I think for Niagara, as we were talking about them, it's a good push, right? They came into this match with 23 points on board, trailing by, 23 points from first place. So if they get aggressive now, they will have far less to worry about come game number 3.
I mean, yeah, and we can really talk about as well how close the points really are, because how often have we seen a 20-point game, right? It's a common occurrence. I mean, to most of the time, it's pretty. It's not super difficult to get 20 points in a game. You know, you win with 10 elims and you're good to go, right? So it really just shows you how close these teams really are, where a good game with top 5 is really going to get you a lot of points and a lot of places up that leaderboard. So really anybody still has this game to win.
I just gotta like, well, you made it sound like 20 points is so easy.
Well, it's not 30,
actually,
so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is, yeah, it's not the 30 bombs that we've seen in the past, but still, like, getting 10 elims, it's been proving to be quite challenging. It's been proving to be quite challenging for some of these teams to, you know, hit them double digits. I mean, it's been difficult here for the players from Middlesex to have a good bounce back today, right? Yesterday, game 3, they were on fires. Unfortunately, they couldn't carry a lot of that momentum forward coming into today. Today, they're also on fire, but the different kind, not the... Let's perform like absolute legends. They are now trying to find a way to just try outlast everything that's happening around them.
And doing a fine job of it. My goodness me, evading that nade at the last moment as well. My goodness me, here we go. And it's Humber who is aggressive right now. They're a little bit low on one or two of their players, but they have 0 elims and they want to change that ASAP. And right now, it looks like it's just been a full reset, but that should be a very easy knock there. Oh, but very quickly reciprocated there. Nice teamwork coming in from Middlesex County. Just making sure Humber do not get that advantage at all.
Well, let's see if Damage is going to be able to avoid the damage that's coming through as the utilities now start flying over the ridge. Ultra Ego now coming through with the rush. Oh, but gets dropped right on down. Vegeta's down as well. So now it all rides on Piccolo to see whether or not Piccolo can get themselves out of this pickle. Eagle now going to go soaring up the hill. Not quite making it to the tippity top, but this is a great opportunity for Humber now to reset and reapply themselves. As you can see, they've now all been rezzed up. J-Star looking for a bit of an angle to go for. And this could be that moment for Humber now to just clutch it out. I mean, Piccolo, where is he going to hide? There's nowhere to go aside from trying to pick up a few eagles here and there and nowhere. As Middlesex County gets stopped right in their tracks. Humber now feeling like $1 million. Ooh.
He is knocked and he is waiting and he is giving info to his team, but I don't sure how much of that is going to be useful because he's up on that roof and that's not really a good spot for a knock. It's very well protected up there, so we'll have to see how that one goes. Meanwhile, we're just jumping all over the place here, and we're jumping back as is falling down the building right this second. There we go, a little bit of safety coming in for him, but again, I don't know how useful that's going to be, right? It looks like he's across the road. His team can't get to him. He's gonna bleed out before they can. Yeah, not good at all, but it does mean that it's a 3v4 now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that is the way the cookie crumbles. And now there's still an opportunity here for 18 to try and make a little bit of that magic happen, as they could still find quite a bit of leverage over to the side there of Capilano. But from what we've seen from Capilano, especially coming into this match, they ain't going to be backing down to nothing. As Seneca also now starts to apply themselves, they start to move on forward, looking for the opportunity. Georgian going to be waiting in the wings here. I mean, Georgian also one of those teams that could do with a very decent serving of additional points coming their way. So it's all going to ride on how they perform in this situation right here.
We just have to wait and see. Toxic Kid does get taken out there, so that is going to be 1 point going their way. Georgian, not looking too good, right? They had a top 3 in the last game, and right now it's looking like we may see a little bit of a lesser placement coming in for them. They're getting surrounded pretty heavily there, and that compound's not perfect. It's a little bit on that low ground comparatively to the rest of the terrain, so a little bit more difficult to defend for sure. But we jump back over to Western U now over in Los Leones, and there's still the standoff. I mean, again, you're across the street. Oh! Nice little tap and go, but it's not gonna be enough there. Does not get that knock, and he actually gets down to half health, so gonna have to heal back up pretty quick here. Oh, but Hamad doing some funky business over here. Fury and Babyface both going down just like that, and that just that hits him where it hurts, man.
Yep, that. Boom goes the dynamite, right, as they wrap that one up right then and there. But let's see what the approach is going to be here as we hop over onto Seneca A. They got Sheridan just up ahead of them. Seneca B will be making their way out of here. Player now going to be looking to lock it in, trying to find a little bit of that repentance as they come on forward. Oh, look at the sprays. That is now quick reactions coming onto the side here of Georgian. Seneca C also still applying the pressure here as they move further and further onto the footsteps or the door here of the players from Sheridan. Sheridan actually coming in with a decent spread. You can see two players right up front, the third rolling up with a vehicle, and of course that fourth keeping the distance. And now Zeus can try and thunder up the staircase, does find the spray, and that is now just helping alleviate a little bit of the pressure, but the pressure is on as Alabama comes back with a bit of a retaliation here. Quick response again up on the ridge, but that is going to be Gotra getting dropped right on down. Stone Cold and the rest of the team. And look to see what they can find as we do say goodbye to Georgian. Alabama sweeping them under the rugs, now sitting with a very comfortable 5 eliminations to their name.
Very nicely done indeed. They got that win in the first game, and they're looking to make it a second so far. Really well played. Ooh, that spray from King, though. The king of the M4 for sure with that 3 times, but not even using it. Just hip firing away there. Really nice spray coming through there for their second elimination, but at the moment, it's only a trade, right? They've got 1 down, 1 dead already. So for Seneca C, they need these points to try and trade off at least some of the losses they're feeling. But no, the losses just keep getting worse.
Yeah, I was watching UV move in behind the players here from Seneca C as well. And, you know, great play coming through from UV, but an even more impressive play coming through from King. Oh, just running down the competition.
That's so
absolutely amazing gameplay. I mean, it's not that King hit the feet, got a headshot with a vehicle. That is hella impressive, right? I mean, I've seen a lot of things in my days in PUBG, but it's not often that you see a headshot coming through with a vehicle being played out here. In the meanwhile, we are still looking at the fight developing up in towards the lovely Los Leones. We got 3 teams now. Of course, you can see even more looking to move into the fight. The pressure now starting to boil over as the plays come on in. And this is what we love to see. Capilano trying to hold nice and steady. Western U holding on with that 2-piece, but also finding themselves in quite a bit of a predicament. And then coming in right behind them is going to be the other Capilano team starting to wrap around. So this is a Capilano sandwich in on the side of Western U.
It sure is, and really nice work there trying to get that res going. I don't think they quite got it. Oh, that's going to be another one, and oh, there we go. That's Western U taken on out just like that. Too many players at too many angles, too many times. It wasn't going to work, but a valiant effort nonetheless, right? Western U really putting on a show there, but now it's the 2. Capilano versus Capilano. They have to go head-to-head. That's the rules of the sandwich, right? You get rid of the team in the middle, and now you got to go face-to-face, but it looks like Capilano B don't want to do that at all. They've got those vehicles and they're running away, but yep, just running out of here. Somehow avoid getting knocked there in the vehicle, and yeah, that's going to be them just getting out of dodge, if you will. Going, hey, we've got our points. We don't need to risk anymore. Thank you very much.
Well, let's see. Well, they try and wrap it up. So far, it does seem like Capilano B have been doing quite a bit onto the side here of A. We do have Clueless on the front line. Dead player now going to try and bring the team back on their feet. Quick little bit of a trade-off now with that S12K. The rush is on. The molly is doing the damage, but it's not going to be enough, though. It will be stopping Dead player, and this is that full send. Capilano B cleaning house as they move in, finding players all over the place. And Clueless now, the final one left to contest for the survival of their team.
That's That's rather insane. Was that a bait move to kind of draw them in a little bit and then push? I don't know, man, but it worked, whatever that was. Is Kent State are doing similar things, similar moves here. 4 elims on the board so far, trying to make Alabama maybe their next 4. We'll see about that, though. So far, Kent and Alabama going head-to-head here, and it looks fairly even. There's a reset coming on in. Kent State are kind of all over this ridge, but Alabama's the one definitely in control of that high ground.
Well, to run up, that's definitely what they're going to be looking to do in this one is, again, the 2 R2Ds. Well, yeah, so it's R2D2, right? Because there's both of them.
I've been wanting to say that
engaging.
for 2 days.
Yeah.
R2D2.
And it's the second opportunity we got to do exactly that. But we'll see who will be the one to survive, because if you remember the first match, Kent State were the one to go as Alabama took them on down. So let's see, can they maybe regain a little bit of the ground here available to them? In the meanwhile, do you see the players here from Niagara also looking to do their thing, going for a slightly more northern rotation? I think that could actually be a pretty genius move, right? Because there's nobody there, as we can see on that map. And this could allow quite a bit of a play, especially looking at the terrain they have at hand here.
Yeah, it's a really nice spot for them for sure here. I mean, you're right. There's nobody to that north side. There's nobody really to the south side. I mean, it's all in the east and the west. So we'll have to see how this all ends up happening, because you do have quite a few teams now on the outside of that zone that have to come in. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. Looks like a lot of them might be going for that southern rotation, which, unbeknownst to them, is not the play here, because that's where everybody else is. But we will see how that turns out for them. In the meantime, Los Leones is looking a little less full, but at the same time, you still technically have 2 teams there, so gonna have to decide how they're gonna do that one. And Kent State making that southern rotation. They've disengaged from the Alabama fight, fair enough, and they're gonna be moving in. But oh look, I think that's Alabama in the distance.
Well, maybe it's their home sweet home all the way on the far edge of that. In the meanwhile, the rotations will continue to flow on through as the teams now push further and further afield. Kent State, though, I like the fact that the 2 R2s, the R2Ds, didn't really kind of sweep each other out of here, right? We can still see both teams now trying to fight for that winner chicken dinner. With 11 teams remaining, there's still quite a bit to happen, as we've got Capilano A still holding on with their solo up towards the north. I love that high ground position that they've got. Could definitely award them quite a bit of an opportunity now to gain some kind of leverage over on towards Capilano B. But you also got to watch out for those rotations coming through now, as we do have Alabama pushing in from that southern side. And speaking about the south, this is where we see Kent State also now looking to wrap on in, but they find themselves coming in on the side here of Seneca.
As Capilano find themselves coming up onto the side of Capilano again, as they make their push to that solo as well. But yeah, Seneca C definitely looking at these intruders and going, oi, get off my lawn. And I think Kent State have kind of gone, yeah, all right then, and they've moved on a little bit, but still, this area is getting busier and busier now, especially with Alabama up onto the top side there. There we go. That is going to be Capilano A eliminated finally with that solo going on out. 11th place. Not as high as they might have wanted, but they held out for a darn long time, that is for sure. But Capilano B now have 8 eliminations, right? They're looking very, very good in this match.
Yep, they eating pretty good tonight.
Sure thing.
Let's see whether or not they can lock that in. Only 3 of their players have been able to secure themselves those eliminations. So once we have all 4 online, just laying into whatever needs to be done, I think it's going to be quite interesting. But looking over towards Kent, this could be quite a difficult position for them to play from now, as they find themselves over in that warehouse, essentially with their backs against the wall to some extent. And this opens up the opportunity for Seneca, as well as the players from Alabama, to try and tighten their grip here.
Yes, indeed. 500 meters to go into that stage 4 zone, though. That means it's nowhere near Los Leones. The new zone is not here. It has to go over to that western side, maybe even the northwestern side, and this is where we're going to have that mad dash, DK. 10 teams all have to get into zone ASAP because it's flat, it's open, and everybody's got to go into it. So really, we're going to start seeing a bloodbath here.
Yeah, it's flat, it's open, and everybody's hoping that they can get their hands on that winner chicken dinner. But Alabama, they've got one of their players offline. That's Batman. Not quite sure what's happening over there. But let's see if they can continue to pull through as they are just patiently awaiting the return of their teammate here. Maybe, who knows, right? Seneca C in the meanwhile, they're not going to be sitting around waiting. They instead will be trying to prioritize that zonal positioning, sipping on a little bit of that blue juice as they start to push further up towards the north, looking for a good position to move on in. And I mean, with Stone Golden King, they can actually do quite a bit of damage here, as we've already seen, right? Those 3 eliminations, but the way that they've secured those 3 eliminations has been pretty dang impressive.
It sure has, and we'll see if they can pull anything more out of that bag when they get to zone. In the meantime, Capilano B actually have this teeny tiny little compound on the very tippy top edge of the zone. It's not fantastic for the long term, but it gives them a foot on the ground. Now Sheridan do go out, so that's one less team to contend with here, but Kent actually have a fantastic position up onto that hillside, onto a compound on high ground, in a decent position in zone, so they're looking very strong right now.
Well, let's see how strong they're going to be, as of course, well, we've got a little bit of a thing that could make you strong as well. As strong as an Amazon gift card code up on the top right of the screen. I'm not quite sure what powers that will give you, but hey, you can try whatever you can with all of them money right there. There's the code. So be sure to grab that. We do say goodbye to the players there from Northern Alberta as they make their way out of here as well. And with that, we are down to the final 8 as we move closer and closer to stage number 6. Sinclair gonna be the next one to get wrapped up, as we now sit with 7 and 19 players up. Oh, this is going to get pretty dang tight as the teams now get closer and closer. As you can see, Kent also going to be feeling a little bit of the heat, as they still have the whole squad up. But Prince now having to just duck and dive their way through all those sprays coming in their direction.
But DK, look at that zone. This is Kent's to lose, to win, whichever way that saying goes. Look at the spread that they are able to have, the one that they currently have, and where the rest of those teams are. All those teams have to come in across that valley, very open, very sprayable. I mean, some are going to fall through the cracks just because everybody's going to be going at roughly the same time, so you're not going to be able to catch all of them in that crossing, but still, you're going to be able to do a fair dent to the majority of these teams here before they even get anywhere near you. So Kent really have to be quick, and they have to be careful because, yeah, Capilano B taking the only option they got, spinning out apparently. No, going up behind, but I think Capilano B, this is not how they wanted to do this. They are stuck. That vehicle is about to explode. They are stuck. It was a good rotation, but Kent saw it coming. And it looks like they might just have to abandon that plan a little bit here. Oh, this is not good for Capilano B.
Yeah, you can see UV now frantically searching for the opportunity. That vehicle does indeed go boom as Fat Boy gets picked on up right there. But I was looking at the position, right? The northern side of zone could be quite an interesting approach, and I'm happy to see that Seneca C decided to go that route, as they do have quite a bit of a reach now to try and utilize in their favor here. Speaking of favors, the blue zone is going to do nothing here for UV, as they will get taken out pretty soon. But now Seneca, I think they have a good opportunity. They have to get across the road and onto that ridge line if they want to stand any chance to contest the players there from Kent. But look at that lineup, that absolute gatekeep on the edge of zone. Alabama doing everything they can to try and lock it down. Kent now also sending down the barrage of utility as Hamad gets picked on up. Delete now, going to try and survive as we do say goodbye to Capilano B. Seneca This is their opportunity. This is their time to strike. They have quite a bit of leverage now to play at here. And Anmol and Prince, the final two players now remaining for the side of Kent State.
Oh dear, what has happened to Kent? They were looking so strong, looking so good, but I think too much has happened on all sides, and now they're looking like they might just fall down a little bit. If they can get this res, if they can get this reset, not too shabby, but Alabama looking to just run and gun and gets the one, but Ruthless is able to get out of the way in time, so that's at least back up to a 3-man. That'll do for now, as Humber now move in and want to take this house from them. It's a big old battlefield onto the southern side.
Well, it's good to see this coming through from Humber. They've been quiet for a big majority of this match, but now it is going to be them looking to leverage the position onto the side here of not only Kent, but also the side of Alabama. And Mole just trying to dance around those flames, as it is going to be mollies flying in from every which direction. But the pressure is on. A little bit of a dance, a little bit of a trade up on the door as Anmol gets dropped. And now it's all riding on the shoulders of Prince. It's going to be Kent hitting them double digits as we do say goodbye to Alabama. That is now, I believe, 11 eliminations for Kent State. Anmol could still get rescued right here, but it's all going to ride on what Humber's going to be doing as Seneca falls and Kent falls alongside them. And with that, only 3 squads now remain. It's going to be Seneca, Niagara, and of course, well, the monsters that we saw pushing in from that southern side as Drizzy gets lasered on up. Luxury trying to make a run, but is not going to beat the blue as Stone Cold finishes up the play, and 2 squads now left to fight it out for that winner chicken dinner.
And what a fight it's been, and what a fight it will be, right? Look at these two. Just a duo left for their team, but with 7 eliminations all to themselves. Stone Cold and King. I'm sure there's something to be said in those names that's ringing true. And Humber, they've got that man advantage to be sure, but the momentum might not be really on their side comparatively here. They have that compound though, but they are outside of zone. So it's really a back and forth about who's going to win this. I almost want to say it's going to be Seneca here just because of what they've done so far and their position in zone, but Humber could do some great things here. I mean, they're starting to look for that entry in. They've got 23 seconds to do it, but it is very open once you get over that ridge. There's not a whole lot protecting you. So this is a really difficult zone and vital battle for both of these teams.
And I mean, it's great to see the control coming through over towards the Seneca side, but the terrain is not really playing in their favor here, right? It's not looking all too advantageous for them whatsoever. Stone Cold now has no other choice other than to try and push forward, trying to get themselves into some kind of safety, just narrowly escaping a near imminent deletion right there. As the push is now coming towards them, Humber now starting to try and find any angles they can. Stone Cold gets dropped right down. King now trying to see if they can survive the onslaught, but it is going to be quite the uphill battle as Humber seem to have this one in the back. They do clean it out, and that is them securing the victory. The winner chicken dinner. The second last one up for grabs, but what a finish, doing so with 8 eliminations on the board.
What a game for Humber. Really well played, and such a difficult end zone to work with, and yet they did it. They were not in any position to win that. They were not in a position of advantage or strength coming into zone 4 and 5, and yet here they stand, number 1 with that win under their belts. A really strong comeback for Humber for sure.
But I gotta say, I think where a turning point came through for the side of Humber was when they moved in, when they rushed into stage number 6, coming through from that southern side, inching up on the ridge line, right in behind Kent and Alabama. I think that was the turning point, because that building worked out amazingly for them, providing them a lot of coverage and a lot of angles to just kind of, you know, be an absolute nuisance to the teams ahead of them. So yeah, great opportunity there for the side of Humber to try and bounce back. So absolutely loving it. But at the same time, you know, we got to see who loved the action too much out in this past match. We got to check and see who our MVP will be for game number 2.
It's Ruthless. Nicely done there. 853 damage to 5 elims. He's putting in the work for his team. My goodness me. Now that could be assists. That could be some elims getting stolen away from him there. But either which way, 853, not half bad for such a large map like Miramar for sure. It's sometimes hard to find people to actually get those points for yourself, but he managed it in style. GG's.
Yeah, well done, well played. So that is Kent already being represented once. Now I wonder who the MVP is, and it's no surprise it's still Kent. As they come through with the 2090 with regards to the damage. 11 teen eliminations. Absolutely amazing. Loving that for them. So, yep, a lot of hard work going through there from the side of Kent State, trying to close up whatever they can as they make that push, trying to climb up those standings. So that's going to add an additional 21 points to their overall tally with regards to their match points. And as we can see, of course, that translates into a glorious 38 points all the way up in 4th place. And it's pretty tight up at the top, right? Seneca B, Alabama, both now sitting on a very comfortable 46 points apiece.
They sure are. St. Clair has been bumped down 1. I mean, they did enough to only be bumped down 1. But, as we said, St. Clair need to step it up in this last match if they want to hold on to that 3rd place, because now Humber, Kent State, Middlesex County, and Niagara all above 30 points and are all looking for that top 3 spot for sure here. So, it's looking really, really strong for a lot of these teams. Seneca B definitely doing enough there. Alabama putting in that work. Niagara as well. We saw them very aggressive in that first half of the game. So they're really, really looking for that 6th place, for that prize pool. And Middlesex County got to do something here because they are now tied with them.
Yep, the pressure is on, right? So Middlesex County showed us yesterday that they can bounce up quite a bit. So gotta love the option and the potential available for these teams. But it's all gonna boil down to one more game, right? One match is gonna be the decider that decides, well, who walks away with the title, the victors of this season. So quite a bit to look forward to. So be sure to join us right back after the break. See you in a minute.
PUBG Mobile is excited to present the new 8x8 kilometer map Rondo.
This is where the future meets tradition.
And where PUBG Mobile's new map Rondo comes alive.
Yo, wait. This place reminds me of something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
Wait, are you thinking about Yulin?
yeah, true. Did you know that Yulin is also a part of Rondo? It is actually a hot drop, which makes close range and long range fights very, very difficult. A new map that comes with new features. That means you have new vehicles, new weapons, and much, much more. From the traditional garden to this futuristic skyline, exploring Rondo is feeling like being right here.
Rondo has a lot of inspiration from Asian culture, both old and new.
Come immerse yourself in Rondo.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready for the final match. We're heading into the jungle to see who will be crowned the victors for this season of the PUBG Mobile Campus Championship for North America 2025 Spring Split. So there's going to be a lot of pressure coming through as we've seen the teams really doing quite a bit of work to make things hot and spicy with regards to those standings and the leaderboard. I mean, we got a tie for first and second, right? Both squads sitting on 46 points apiece. Sinclair coming through with a 41. We got 38 points for Humber. And then, of course, 37 coming through for Kent State. And, well, Middlesex County also still in the swing of things, right? The prize money goes all the way to 6th place. But Middlesex and Niagara, both teams sitting on 33 points. So it's going to be pressure, pressure, pressure as we move into this final game.
And the final game being Sanhok is even worse for these teams. When you're in this sort of predicament, when you've got a tie that means everything, and then you have to go battle it out on Sanhok. Oof, that's just a whole lot of oofness right there. I don't envy these teams one bit, but you know what? I thoroughly enjoy it at the same time because we are about to watch some epic chaos, some epic fights, and we're getting into it pretty darn soon. So I'm just really impatient at this point, DK. I want to get into this last match and get going.
Well, I think there's an opportunity for potentially even Sheridan, Seneca C, and Seneca A to make a run for the money, right? Yep. I mean, we've seen teams clutch it out. We've seen those 20 bombs being dropped. So, with that being said, I am expecting quite a bit of a change, especially coming from the teams that might seem to be the dark horses, right?
Yeah.
We could potentially even call them the underdogs, right? This could be the opportunity for them to really rise to the occasion, to come through and see what they can accomplish. And I'm expecting quite a few amazing things to come through because you remember yesterday, Middlesex County, they were the team to take the chicken over in the jungle, over on Sanhok. So the pressure is going to be on. Will they be able to rise to the occasion, or we see somebody else do that? So I can't wait to see what the jungle is going to hold for our squads. But I did honestly want to see the teams not hard drop this one. Right? I want to see a little bit of a spread. I want to see them utilize the entire map before getting into the crazy chaos.
They would like everybody to just drop boot camp. I think that would be really fun. I had one event that,
Why are you wearing blue?
Everybody dropped boot camp. It was great. It was really, really good fun.
Yeah.
But that's not really in the team's best interest, to be fair, to do that. So yeah, I think a little spread out would be quite nice. You know, it's a big enough or small enough map where you're not going to run into too much trouble if you do that. Just keep to your own thing and we'll get there eventually. But yeah, I don't mind. Either one works. I'm flexible.
Well, I mean, I think flexibility is definitely something that will work quite well for these teams, being able to adapt to whatever that zone and the phase is going to be throwing at them. But of course, we'll find out pretty soon exactly what will be coming towards the squads. But in the meanwhile, be sure to let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to be the team to take the final winner chicken dinner? And, well, if you want to be bold, you could also tell us, who do you think is going to win, right? Because looking at the points, it's still going to be very, very close. But knowing the campus championship, anything can happen. It ain't over until it's over. Until we see that winner chicken dinner coming out we have no idea who's going to be picking up what. So drop your predictions in the chat. Let's see who gets it. And of course, speaking about getting it, right? If you were quick enough to get those Amazon gift cards on either of the previous 2 matches today, or even the 3 games yesterday, let us know in the chat, right? It's just cool to see all these things come through. But yeah, I think there's still going to be quite a bit to look forward to as we move into that final showdown.
Yeah, I'm very excited. As I said, there's a lot to play for. There's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot of points still to be had. And as you said, you know, you can still get in the money if you're lower down on that leaderboard. The points are just that close, right? We're seeing a very even leaderboard so far where different teams are winning different games, right? We're not seeing 1 or 2 teams dominate. Yes, a few teams are doing better, they're not doing best. There seems to be a really even sort of playing field going on here. So it really is anybody's game. We got Sanhok coming up for you right away, as you see on that map rotation. And like we've been talking about, this is the final game. We will know our champions after this game. So this is definitely one not to miss. If you were thinking about taking a break, don't. This is the last game. So you better be ready for it, because we're about to drop into the jungle.
I've got my popcorn that's popping. It's
Nice.
It's gonna be coming in hot soon. Not really, but I'm imagining that in my head.
I see.
Saying that that's what's gonna be going, because this almost feels like a popcorn moment. So yeah, I think we'll be able to kind of try and piece things together as we progress through this match, right? If Seneca or Alabama goes out early on, we know that their fate is essentially sealed, right? They can't advance any further than what they have already, because, well, you don't get points out in the lobby. But I think this will make for quite an exciting play here, as we do see the players there from Sinclair, the first one to hop off the plane as they are heading over in towards Kampong, same as what they've did yesterday. It does also seem like the players there from Seneca B are going to be looking to go just north of the quarry, which is, again, kind of within the realm of normality for them. But it doesn't seem to be a super crazy widespread. So yeah, now it's just going to be down to what these teams will have and how it's going to pan out for them.
I mean, I can't really call these hot drops just yet, but it's definitely looking a little too close for comfort for some of these teams, right? Cow, definitely a hot drop, that is for sure, but Ruins as well, looking a little bit too close for comfort. So we'll see. Camp Alpha as well, looking a little bit close there. Nobody in boot camp except for one team, obviously, and the rest of them seem to be pretty well spread out here. But yeah, there's a couple of teams where, for the most part, they're going with what you had wanted to see, DK, but the rest of them, or rather a couple of them, really, really making sure that they are close to their enemies because they want to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, well, we gotta love all the pressure that is building up here. I like the spread and nice positioning that we've got for a majority of the teams. Nothing really changing all too much with where these teams have gone, aside from, of course, a slight little bit of an adjustment, right? We did have the players from Kent up in boot camp yesterday. Today, they went for Paradise. And we do have a bit of contention up on towards the north, up in Cow with Alabama. Now finding themselves in a bit of a position, right? Having to defend to see if they can actually hold on to the territory themselves. Of course, that is going to be Capilano B sharing that position there with them. But I think another interesting thing that we do see also then is even more of a change up, more of a trade coming through with how the teams have looked to get themselves positioned. Middlesex County this time going around for that bootcamp split, as opposed to dropping all the way in towards Sami. So it's interesting how these teams are trying to adapt their positioning, trying to get a read on what that zone could bring.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be seeing that. Oh, Capilano B, that's somebody going on down. Yeah, Capilano B just down to 2 at this moment in time. 3 minutes in and just down to a duo is pretty darn rough, and that was Seneca B, right? Yeah, it's not looking good at all as the top placeholders at the moment. That tie is looking a little less strong now, DK.
Well, I mean, the pressure is building, right? And that's what we love to see from these teams, looking whether or not they'll be able to hold strong, hold steady. We're going to see a lot of sneaking coming through. As Georgian finds a bit of an opportunity. Fury now. Oh, getting spotted. But you got to watch it, Toxic Kid, because the rest of the crew is hard on your heels. They're going to come over that ridge line, open their scopes, and let them barrels just descend down upon you. But a little bit of suppressive fire there coming through from the rest of the Georgian team, trying to open up that opportunity for the thirst.
Yes, indeed, and they gotta get that boost on before they go any further here. Fury trying to crawl to safety. Not gonna probably. Oh no, he's down below that hillside, so there ain't no way Toxic Kid is able to see him there. He might have just crawled away to safety there a little bit, but they're starting to get surrounded, right? They are not gonna let this one go. Niagara as well, narrowly missing out on potential knock there. Very, very close for comfort, but I don't think Viper was spotted. They just want to get on out, so that's fine for them as well.
Yeah, indeed. So now it's going to be time to play. Right. Niagara moving further and further, trying to see if they can maybe sneak their way up into a little bit of some over here, over there, maybe everywhere. As they now move out of Camp Bravo. Georgian not out of the woods just yet. Still fighting themselves in a bit of a contentious spot here. Seneca keeping it nice and pressurized. Oh, Zeus though does find Punk, does hit those shots, and that does open up a whole can of worms, as we are going to be seeing that full send come through now. And I mean, Georgian only making it into this match with a 3-piece, right? So that also does complicate things to at least some extent here.
It do indeed, and Seneca A might just, I don't know what they're going to do here. I mean, they do have half a reset, right? There's still that reset going on the other side here, and Scorn does go down, so maybe the tides have turned here a little bit. Toxic Kid next to go down. Yeah, that's it. Georgian falling apart over by Trifecta area now, so just one left alive. Seneca A going to be able to snap up probably 3 points at this point in time, and for Georgian, that is probably the end of the road, although Zeus holding out a little bit here. He's trying his best. Babyface does go down, which might just buy him the time he needs to survive a little bit longer. But now Drizzy going on down here, but it's not going to be enough, and Niagara is going to be the one to win this one out, and NAIT is the first to go out here.
Yeah, well played. Well played. A lot of action already coming through. We said it is going to be a hot and spicy play, and that is exactly what the teams are delivering. But now we are left with 13 crews, as the Georgian is going to be the next one to make their way out of here. So slowly these teams are getting picked apart, right? The competition is definitely tightening up quite a considerable bit. So as we know, a few squads getting sent out of the way. So Georgian and the North Alberta team, it's unfortunate, but we're not going to be seeing all too much come through from them. There is, however, still quite a bit of an opportunity. Not so much for Capilano B, as they will have to settle with what they've been able to get here. Capilano A also going right on out of here. So with that, the whole school getting sent back to the lobby. Now 11 squads remain. I mean, sure, I was expecting it to be pretty dang crazy, but I was not expecting to see so many teams drop within the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, because it's not really felt that chaotic, right? We've had one fight after the other in very orderly fashion, but to only have 11 teams now remaining, oh, come on, that's got to be, a very easy knock there. Babyface not aware that this team was behind him, rip him, and I don't even know if they can get that up and ready to go. No, that's going to be another one going down. Seneca, oh my goodness me, they're losing players by the minute here. What's going on?
And I mean, of course, Strungs has to come rolling up with a Vespa, right? Probably the fastest vehicle on this map right here.
Absolutely.
Just sending it on in. Seneca A going A for away. And off we are down to the final 10 squads. Well, nobody's out of any danger right yet, as you can see even more now coming through here as the rushes continue to flow. And this is what we love to see. I mean, this is not quite the boot camp drop, but I mean, Western U also jumping at the opportunity. So essentially all the teams that we had starting over on that northwestern island, they've all now trickled down into this ruin area.
They sure have, and time again, we see Trifecta being a hotspot of activity over on Sanhok, and we're not too far from there. You can see it over onto the right-hand side there, but Middlesex County got a really good thing going here. I mean, they're using this hill to great advantage themselves. I mean, they only have 3 elims, and those 3 elims are kind of with the guy in the lobby now, but still, 3 points is 3 points, and now we're starting to see Western U getting bombarded. Oh my goodness me, is back in the lobby. He sure is. Nothing we can do about that as the nades continue to fly, DK.
Like, you gotta love this though. I mean, 3 teams caught in a bit of a triangle of absolute disaster. Western U, out they go. I mean, yeah, things are starting to form up here. Alabama though doing pretty dang well. 6 eliminations as they are leading the charge with regards to the aggression. It does seem like Middlesex County are going to be looking to replicate those efforts from yesterday, maybe opting for another victorious play right here on Sanhok itself. Seneca still going to be holding nice and steady on the opposing side there. And it's interesting that, you know, Seneca C is doing so much because, I mean, they came into this match sitting with 28 points. So there's still quite a bit of an opportunity, right? If they drop a 20 bomb, that could definitely award them quite a bit of an opportunity, getting them well within, I believe, that top 6, and quite comfortably so.
Yes, and Didi, it's interesting. We haven't seen that zone, where that zone gone yet, and for very good reason, because we got a boot camp hot drop going on down here. And you know what else is going on down, DK? What else is going on down is an Amazon $5 gift card code on your screens right now while we watch this chaos in boot camp. Pause the match. That can wait. Go get your code right this second because it's first come, first serve. So be sure you are the fastest to get that code for yourself. As we look over to Alabama and Niagara, both chucking those nades. It is nade central over on Sanhok tonight, and oh my goodness, Hamad doing some crazy work there, dropping low, but gets that elim, gets that point across there, and now Niagara are scrambling. They've got to defend this, and Hamad doing his best, but no, it's not going to be enough, and Alabama get eliminated just like that.
Yeah, and I mean, for Alabama, it's only elims, right? Because there's no placement points in 9th place.
Yeah.
So that is quite a bit of a rip right there. So there's still an opportunity for all the teams behind them to catch up and maybe even surpass them. I mean, Kent, they've got a great opportunity to do exactly that. Sheridan holding nice and steady. Also just a few points away from Kent's position on those standings. 8 points to be exact. So this is Kent with 1 elim up. Let's see whether or not Sheridan is going to be able to maybe pick up a little bit of that momentum. They have a 2-piece, as we can see, just up ahead. So that's Dev, Araju. Middlesex County going to be an absolute nuisance as they start peering in from the edges here. But now the pressure is on because, I mean, Niagara, they did an absolutely phenomenal job up towards the northern side. As you can see them slowly starting to mobilize. Luxury's got to be careful, right? Can't delay that push too long. Otherwise, it could delay the advances for the rest of the team. But now comes the Sen. He has Ruthless. Tries to stay true to the name. And with that, Kent State take out Sheridan. But Middlesex still holding nice and steady. You can see Piccolo coming in with a bit of a long wraparound as they look to push over towards that far eastern side, trying to get slightly more of an advantageous position over on towards Kent State.
Yeah, with 5 elims on the board right now, they do well to just hold back for a little bit, right? Get that scouting in, get that info, and prepare for the next stage of the game. You've got enough points on those elims now. Now you've got to make those positioning points as well. So hopefully we see some strategy coming in from them. St. Clair onto the northern side as well, starting to make their move in. But DK, again, this team has been so quiet, and for me, a little too much so, because they still only have one elimination in this game. It's just not enough.
And I mean, they're going to have to do quite a bit if they want to catch up to potentially Alabama and Seneca, but at the same time, keep themselves well ahead of the competition. You can see Seneca B, they're taking the more reserved approach, right? Trying to stay out of harm's way, not getting involved in any altercations. They've not got a single elimination to their name just yet. But Seneca C, I mean, what do they have to lose, right? They're just going to risk it as much as they can, going full pedal to the metal here, and that could also still pay off quite well for them at the end of the day. Sinclair, though, yeah, a very difficult spot here, because they came in trading by 5 points. They made up one additional point. We did see Alabama getting those elims, so they are now 5 points away from catching up to Seneca B, but they don't want to do anything foolish. They don't want to throw away that opportunity, because they can almost taste a lion's share of that prize pool. So you don't want to waste it just yet. So that explains why we are seeing a lot of the teams doing what they're doing. But you got to admire the tenacity coming through from a team like Seneca C.
Absolutely. They're going for it and going for it in the right way so far. They're in the zone. They're looking pretty nice, pretty good here. Middlesex County, though, has to be the one on top at the moment, right? That central position, trifecta, is a very strong position to have. They've already gotten those fights. They have that momentum from the early game. They're looking very good for this next shift, because now you're going to start to see Kent want to move in. You're going to start to see St. Clair want to move in, as well as a bunch of teams to the south side. But as long as they don't do it all at once, they should be pretty good.
Well, only time will tell, right? That is going to be the big reveal. See how this one will pan out for them, but the pressure is starting to build now. Trifecta has never been an easy position to play through as the team start taking up angles. Humber again going for a little bit of that elevated position, trying to see if they can maybe scout out something further down the hill. Seneca also keeping it nice and quiet. Seneca, C and Seneca B, both teams are on towards that western side, waiting for the zone to pop. And I think once that zone pops, we'll get a pretty good idea where this is going to go and who will have the highest probability of locking it in. Looking at the shift, though, it is going to be chaos on that southern side of zone.
Oh, I don't want to play this game. I'm so glad I'm on this side of the game and not their side, because man, oh man, that is a tough zone. I mean, one of the Senecas is going to have to use the bridge, as you see they're doing right now, but the rest of these teams not looking so good. All of a sudden, it kind of feels like St. Clair might have at least one of the best positions in zone right now. Yes, it's very edge, but there's so much you can do from this compound.
Yeah, there definitely is quite a bit that they can do from here, but it's all going to come down to whether or not, well, they actually do it, right? Because it's one thing holding a good position, but it's another thing if you actually utilize the living heck out of that. So the pressure is right here, right? It's a slow bit of a build up over towards the bridge as Demon and the rest of Seneca C now starts to make their way, trying to inch their position up in towards the zone. I like this for Humber, though. That elevated angle could definitely look phenomenal if they could leverage it all the way through. Middlesex, they've now been trying to find that momentum that they found in the last game. I think it's fair to say that Middlesex County, they really enjoy playing on the map of Sanhok.
Yes. Yeah. You're right, because, as we said before, they won the last one. Niagara go down to Kent there, onto the south side, so Niagara unable, or not quite down. I thought they all went down. No, just two of them. So there are still two left alive, and Kent now starting to feel that pressure as well. Really not a good turn of events for either of these teams. They thought they could do an easy cleanup, but it's not the case. They're now outside of the zone in a really hard position to do anything with, and the P90 is coming in, but a really nice wraparound from Ninja. He immediately gets taken out. It's all down to Animal now, and he's trying to get those shots underneath there. He is gonna get it. Oh, Prince almost down as well, but DK, I don't know which way this is gonna go, because that zone is ticking pretty fast now.
Yeah, and Middlesex County being in an absolutely godly position just ahead of both squads trying to get out of the blue. So whoever makes it out of here is going to fall victim to a potential spray down coming through from Middlesex County. Vegeta and the rest of the crew now keeping nice and steady, trying to see if they can potentially leverage something to their advantage. They do find the angles, but the zone is going to force their hand. They have to move to the opposite side of the zone. I mean, this is now going to be go time, right? Middlesex County going to try and maybe just hold back a little bit, trying to ride on the edge to see who else they can pick up along the way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's going to be their best spot. Kent State do go out here, but St. Clair have the best entry into this zone, right? They go straight to that warehouse. Looks like Middlesex County are actually going to push that as well, but they've landed just a touch too late, and they know it. So now it's this cliffside outside a zone. Not a good position for them. At least they have one player still on the other side for that off angle, but not looking too good at all. The same goes for Humber as well, right? Up at the top there, you can do a lot of work, but for how long? Because you're out of the zone by quite a bit there.
Yep, they are definitely out of the zone by quite a bit, but the pressure is on as we do say goodbye to Niagara. Down they go. Quite a valiant effort that they brought forward into this game. They were sitting on those 7 eliminations, and of course they do get 1 or 2 placement points for going out in 6th place, but that could see them moving up a lot closer to the top 3. Not quite sure if they're going to be secured in that position at all, as we are yet to see what Seneca B is going to be doing, right? They've not done anything so far. They've been absolutely quiet. We can see them off in the distance. Now Middlesex County on 9 eliminations. They came in with 33 as well, so that does put them up on 42 points. Placement points now going to play quite a big role in this. Seneca C is going to get absolutely deleted. Off they go. And this is now St. Clair holding in the compound. They send out the utility, trying to push the hand here of Middlesex County further and further out, keeping them in that blue. What a way to leverage the positioning that they've got available to them. But I'm looking at the players there from Seneca B, also now potentially getting ready for a bit of a strike. You can see them just off in the distance. Middlesex County trying to pick up the pieces, but it is not looking easy at all. The full send is there. St. Clair trying to hold on for dear life, but will they make it? Middlesex County just needs it, and there they go. They get the plate. 12 eliminations to their name.
Huh? What a way to play the end game in such a difficult zone as well. You can see how open it is, and they are playing this to perfection so far. Humber have a really good position. They're taking that control. J-Star's down very low, but he's got those 2 elims. But Middlesex County not happy with just what they have. They want the win as well. They want a shot at that trophy because it is within their grasp right now. They just have to be careful of that solo to the south side. I don't think they know he's there, and honestly could pack a huge punch against them if they're not careful. Yeah, there you go. Psycho making his presence known here.
Yeah, but I think for Seneca B, it might be a little bit too late, right? They might have dropped the ball here, and down they go, getting nothing but placement points, and of course 1 elimination. But looking at that absolute showing of brutality coming through from Middlesex County, it's hard to beat. 13 eliminations already. There could be quite a bit of a change coming with regards to those overall standings, but you got to give it up to Humber as well. Also not backing out of the fight. They still have 3 players up, so it's not all done and dusted just yet. Worst case scenario though, Middlesex is going to be walking out of here with at least 19 points on the board. Right, so
Crazy.
Whichever way the cookie crumbles, they might be smiling. But again, as we said, it ain't over until it's officially over. Beautiful nade. Humber closes it out. Slam smack into the side there. with a beautiful, beautiful showing of utility. But you got to give it up to Middlesex County. They came so exceptionally close to getting that winner chicken dinner yet again. But Humber, they've been doing quite a bit of work so far today, right? Just absolutely grinding their butts off to climb back up those standings.
They sure have. I believe this is their second win, right? Is this back-to-back for Humber? Yeah. I think. Yeah, it is. Right, so that is fantastic for them. To win 2 out of the 3 games tonight is kind of a crazy stat, no matter which way you think about it. So, while Middlesex County, I think, have possibly done enough to at least, you know, climb a few more places up there, it's close enough where I think they might have taken it, but we'll see, But for Humber, that is excellent. Really, really good show tonight. They've really brought it back, as you said, and yeah, let's see who the MVP is, because I kind of think it's going to be somebody from, it's Piccolo. Really well done there. 5 eliminations, 507 damage. So very clean, very efficient performance from him.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that the MVP might also be Middlesex County, because they just did so much. And of course, no surprise, 13 eliminations. There was no other team even close. So what a performance, what a way to close off the final game right here for the spring split. I mean, it's been absolutely amazing. Middlesex County, they did a lot of work. They were so close. Imagine if they'd gotten another chicken on Sanhok yet again, right? It would have been one for the books, right? Yeah. Story I could tell my grandkids one day. I don't know about that one. But yeah, sure. Let's take a look, see who our champions are. Drum roll, please. The answer is Humber College. Sneaking on in there. Wow. Coming through. What a comeback. I mean, they came in with 38 points in the last match, right?
That's crazy.
What a position. And that winner chicken dinner just going all the way through. What a way to finish it up. What an upset though. But Middlesex County, look at that. A 3-way tie. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right? Technically not a tie because obviously we can see the difference in the points there, but it has been quite a play. 52 points. Man, it is so close. And of course, you got to congratulate St. Clair as well as Kent State. And you got to go give it up for Seneca C, right? It's coming through with so much enthusiasm in this last match. Right? It looked quite promising for them. Niagara also doing quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
But it has been quite a bit of action that we've had here. Got to give it up to Alabama as well, right? 40 eliminations. Definitely the leaders with aggression.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we saw that time and time again, right? Both of those Orangles, they came in full force both times, but Humber taking that back-to-back win has got to be such a show of dominance, such a show of confidence. They were ready for tonight to come back at it, and not only just come back, but come back and win the entire thing. So that is a huge accomplishment for them. Big GG's going over to Humber as our champions this season.
And of course, another important thing to remember, aside from the share of the prize pool that they get, is that there's also the 2 PMSL fall qualifier slots for the top 2 teams. So, yeah, we have 2 teams that have now unlocked an exciting opportunity for themselves here. So, yeah, I think the teams have been doing quite a bit of hard work here. Humber, as we said last season, they did quite well. You know, playing quite a bit of a game. So I love just how the teams keep on playing through the progression, keep on coming through with those surprises. And it just shows you that nobody really is safe at any point, right? It can change at any time. Of course, well, the previous season, it was Coquitlam College that won, right, in the fall split. And then the previous spring split, that was when we saw Humber also doing some magical things here. So, yeah, well done. Right.
Very well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been insane. What a few days.
It has. Just snaps for Humber, snaps for the top 6, snaps for all the teams. They've done such a great job here to keep those points so close. As I keep saying, right? It could have been 1, 2, 3 teams wiping the rest of the lobby. It really wasn't, right? Humber come in being very dominant in the last 2 games, but that's only 2 games out of 6, and the rest of them had a really, really good couple of days as well. So a very, very good show of just performance from everybody here.
Yep, there's nothing else to say, right? You've said it all. So big congratulations going out to our teams that have performed exceptionally well. And of course, if you want to participate in the upcoming season, right, the next split, the fall split, head on over to the Discord and go register right there. Make sure that you are involved, and we could see your school also participating in this if they've not done so already. But yeah, up until then, I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you for all the teams for being absolute legends yet again, and we look forward to see you all back in the next one. So until then, stay safe, and we'll see you back soon.
Have you come across this new type of token in your battles? Let me show you how you can get more of them. Time tokens can be found in both themed mode and classic mode. When you win a match, you can leave with all the time tokens in your backpack. However, if you get eliminated, you'll lose 20% of the time tokens in your possession. But is winning matches the only way to get loads of tokens? Not at all. You can use the supply shop's upload feature to take them out in advance. You can take out up to 40 time tokens per day. The most efficient way to collect time tokens is to head straight for the themed area, where there's a higher chance of finding them. It's also filled with supplies, so you're likely to run into other players. Defeat them to get some of their time tokens. Once you've got your tokens, head to the perk shop to exchange them for rewards. Available rewards this period include the Camel Superfan set, 7th Anniversary set, and Duneshine Dacia Level 1. Exchange your leftover time tokens for perk tokens to use them for future perk shop rewards. Collect time tokens in the game now, so you don't miss out on any rewards.